My number one 2017 goal is to shoot at least one video this year where I'm wearing makeup that's like less than 8 hours old. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on two relatively new palettes with you. As you know, I'm a massive fan of Zoeva, and in the past I've reviewed a number of their palettes. So from the Cocoa Blend to the Taupe on Taupe palette, the Rose Golden. As a side note, the On Taupe palette review is my most popular review on this channel, even though it was just a point of view thing. So I ordered these from Sephora just before Christmas. Actually, I think it was the Black Friday sale maybe. And they arrived, I started playing with them, I really enjoyed them, and then I kind of put them in the cupboard or in the drawer and kind of got bombarded with all the Christmas stuff, and these kind of got laid to the side for a little while. And a couple of weeks ago I pulled them out again and decided to start playing with them again and rediscovered them and thought that I would share my thoughts with you. Alright, so in this video we're going to be talking about the Caramel Melange palette, and then we'll talk about the Blank Fusion in another. So as you know, I've been a massive fan of Zoeva for the longest time. I have reviewed most of their 10-pan palettes on this channel for good reason. I think they're great quality and I think they're a great price point. This palette costs $39 at Sephora, just like all the others do. And as usual, the format of this is very similar to the others. So as I mentioned, this is a 10-pan palette. There is no mirror. I guess that's what helps to keep the price point down, and I don't mind that so much. Very nice slimline packaging, quite sturdy still. I still feel very comfortable to travel with this and not have it get all damaged. And this palette, as the name suggests, has a lot of warm tones, and I feel like this is a perfect autumn kind of palette. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I dug it out at this point, because I thought as we go into, in Australia at least, we go into colder months, this is probably one that I will get quite a lot of use out of. What's wrong? There's somebody who wants to be on camera. They haven't featured for a little while. She's a little obsessed with the ring light. So this is, I think, something that's beautiful for autumn. There are some beautiful sort of orange-based tones here, which I think are lovely. Now, this is the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. I've used a few shades. So I have painted the entire lid from lashes to brow with this white shade, or cream shade I should say, which is called Wax Paper. I've then used Universal Delight in the crease, and I've used it quite heavily because it's quite a light shade. I then took Alchemy in the crease and in the outer corner, and then Liquid Center, which you are going to be blown away with in a moment, was just on the inner corner lid. Now, I did end up foiling this with a bit of MAC Fix Plus, so it went a little bit everywhere, and I ended up spreading it over the entire lid anyway, so it kind of ended up taking over the entire look. But this look here was done at 7 AM, no, that's a lie, 7:40 AM, I was running late this morning, and it is now, I don't know if you can see the clock behind me, but it's roughly 10 o'clock. And it's held out really well. The rest of my makeup hasn't so much. Before I actually filmed, I blotted some of the excess oil away and sprayed, and so it's looking a little cakey but not so bad. But the eye makeup I think is still looking really good. So in my opinion, Zoeva make amazing metallic shades. Their shimmers and metallics are just beautiful. The texture is so soft, they're almost gel-like. And unfortunately, this palette doesn't actually contain many of those beautiful metallic shimmers. Starting off here with that cream, it's a matte cream. We then have Universal Delight, which is a beautiful sort of warm, looks like it could belong in the peanut butter and jelly palette from Too Faced. We then have a quite an orange, a bright orangey red called Aftertaste. 182 degrees is a beautiful caramel shimmer. Liquid Center is just beautiful. Alchemy is a slightly dustier orange red. We then go over to kind of a terracotta kind of shade called Start Soft. A deeper, warmer red brown, Finish Sensual. A quite deep gold shade there called Almost Burnt. And then we have a matte with glitter in it. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. So in this palette we have 6 mattes, which are on this side, and then we have the shimmer and glitter shades on this side. Now you can do some amazing looks just with these 6 shades here on their own. I think that they've provided some amazing mattes there to get a really beautiful contoured soft look. And then they've included these shades here just to give a bit of a bang. I've gone ahead and swatched this in natural light before this video so that you can see what these colours actually look like. But just quickly, I'd love to show you what the texture of these is like. Starting off with the shimmers. So this is 181 degrees. Quite light swatches. This is the one that I'm personally dying over. This is Liquid Center. And check this out. Barely touching. Did you see that? Then we have Almost Burnt. Another incredibly soft shade. And then lastly, we've got Edible Gem, which is this kind of shade that I have to be honest, I don't get a lot of use out of, but check out how pigmented that is. I found that you really need to be careful with this one because there is a lot of fallout. Now, the matte shades don't swatch as well as the shimmers do. And so when I first got this palette and I swatched it up for myself, I have to say I was a little bit disappointed by the quality of these mattes. However, then I put them on the eyes and I feel like the mattes are performing a lot better on the eyes with a brush than these ones do. So these ones swatch up beautifully. The oil and warmth from your skin and fingertips really helps to spread it out. But once you get these on a brush, they perform so well. They've got the perfect amount of pigment and filler to really give you some beautiful pigmentation, but also that they blend out really well. And you can go from a beautiful sheer wash of color to a very, very high impact statement color. Let's have a look at some of these mattes. So Wax Paper feels very incredibly soft to the touch, but doesn't swatch as well as the shimmers, obviously. Same thing for Universal Delight. It looks a little dry, but performs beautifully on the skin. Aftertaste certainly has a lot of pigment, as does Alchemy. Start Soft is also lovely. Finish Sensual really has some beautiful depth to it. And as a whole, they're beautiful shades that can give you quite a natural look, but also can really work to give you a very lovely, bold, smoky, warm autumn look. Now, I've just used a makeup wipe to wipe my hands off, and there isn't any major staining, so that's a definite positive. But all in all, this is a really beautiful palette. I'm going to insert some footage now of this palette being swatched in natural light, so you can get a good feel for these colours. Do you think this is one that you will be picking up? I think the colours are beautiful and I think they're very much suited to the time of year that we're heading into. I think the colours remind me of some other palettes. I'm feeling like the Nubian palettes in this. I'm feeling even some of the Kylie Jenner shades in this palette here. I find it interesting that even though it's called the Caramel Melange palette, there's not, apart from maybe that one and, well, maybe that one, there aren't too many actual caramelly, I was going to say flavours, shades in there, but there are definitely lots of shades that would complement caramel. So that's quite interesting. This is one of the best base shades I've ever used. So I think that's a brilliant addition. And that liquid center, I think, is worth buying the whole palette for. I actually feel like the ultra foiled shadows from Zoeva remind me a lot of Makeup Geek. The texture is slightly different, but you get that really bold color payoff. And this one, in my opinion, is well worth the $39. I kind of treat my Zoeva palettes like complementary palettes. Sometimes I'm not going to get an entire look out of one palette, although this palette certainly can do it. But I think for the price, for $40, that's if you buy them from Australia. You can buy them directly from the Zoeva website for a little bit cheaper. You're getting 10 beautiful shadows that will work with so many other palettes. So I could definitely see myself using this with the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I could definitely see this complementing the Sweet Peach palette. I could definitely see this, some of these shades here, maybe working with the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. So it's one of those items that will work well with others. So my verdict is yay. I think it's a lovely palette. I don't think it's their best. I still think perhaps their Cocoa Blend palette is the best one they've ever done. Followed by the Rose Golden, then the On Taupe. Now, as a side note, until very recently, you could purchase Zoeva from Beauty Bay, and the prices were more aligned with the European prices. You did have to pay for shipping over here though, so it's a little bit disappointing. That's actually they've been taken off the website for Australia. They are still there online, but we can't actually ship them here. I believe it's got something to do with the Sephora exclusivity, but you still are only paying $39 at Sephora anyway. And compare that to something like a Too Faced palette, even though you're getting more shades, it's still quite reasonable. So that's my review of the Caramel Melange from Zoeva. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to purchase this one. And I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. We are slowly getting some numbers. As usual, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me in this little corner of the internet. And I will catch you next time. Bye.